Hi, I'm Sheila Searcy, your Dollar Strategies coach and the founder of dollarstrategies.com. I'm here today with Deb Paschke.
Hi.
Hey, Deb.
Hey.
And we're going to take a look behind the scenes of her latest, dare I say it, her latest hit song, A Maker of Things, which is playing in the background of this intro. I'm going to conduct an interview with Deb and we're going to get started. So, first things first, Deb is a lyricist who's been perfecting her craft, and I will let her introduce herself and talk a little bit about her songwriting journey before we get into her latest song. Okay, Deb.
Hey. Okay, so I just have been doing this about, I guess, 9 months now. And I recently joined a community of songwriters through a husband and wife team with Songwriting Unleashed with Austin and Kelly Hardy. And they have given me some good guidance on writing songs. And I think this is probably the best one I've done so far.
Okay, I agree with you totally. It really touched me. So, your latest song, A Maker of Things, really resonated with me. And like you said, I think it's one of your best works yet. Okay. So, but while I was looking at the lyrics, I wanted to ask you about your thought process and you had when you were writing the song. So, I'm going to start with question number one.
Mhm.
When you say Mama was a maker of things with her hands, what do you remember most about your mom?
Well, I would say going back to childhood and seeing my mom just be able to make things. She would make our clothing, especially for us girls, our Barbie doll clothes. She made wedding cakes. We did a lot of canning. Uh, she could put things together. She had a lot of ability, and it it was just something that seemed to come natural to her. But I think over time, uh, she was able to expand on it and got into making a lot more of the crafts and handmade, personal things like dolls and different things like that.
Okay. Well, I had the opportunity to meet your mom in the, I'll say, early 2000.
Mhm.
And I fell in love with her feisty and caring spirit. And she always had a way of telling the truth, but making you laugh at the same time. So that's what I enjoyed about your mom when I had a chance to meet her. So the second question is, what was the first image of your mom that came to mind when you started writing the song?
Um, I kind of go back to in her early days when she would tell us some stories of her childhood and stuff, and I could tell that she was not very confident and she didn't get a lot of kudos or encouragement. So, what stood out to me as I was growing up was her confidence in her energy, in her positivity, in her organizational skills, and those are all things that I've admired so much for her from her. And I just feel like I wish I had some of that in me. Um, but we get what we get, and I think what I picked up from her were good traits.
Okay, awesome. So I just want to say when I heard the song, it resonated with me because it not only captured her spirit, but the spirits of other mothers as well, because mothers give so much of themselves, you know? And the song was extra special to me because me and my aunt, we would send her our extra fabrics, that we had. We would gather them up during the summertime to make sure and to ship them to her to make sure that she had it for the holiday,
Mm,
to make her dolls and other
mm,
crafts that she was making. So that was a honor
yeah.
and for me as well. So when was the moment you realized that you needed to tell her story out loud?
I think that kind of came into play when my mom had passed, and that I felt that she always was so humble, and she didn't want people to know about what she had done. And I felt that it was kind of important that her story get out, because the impact that she's had on so many lives um, doesn't need to be kept silent. It needs to be out there so other people can step forward and maybe do their share. So,
Okay. Now, what I was surprised about and what I didn't know was that in the community, she became known as Granny Jan.
mhm,
So, or where did that name come about, or what did it come to represent to people?
mhm. So Granny Jan was a name that Tanya had come up with, and Tanya was the woman who my mom made the things for, because Tanya was the director of the advocacy program here in Kentucky, and mom actually started by answering an ad in a paper that Tanya put out there. So over time, when Tanya started to see mom make these things, and mom wanted to stay humble, mom did not want to meet the people that were receiving these gifts, the women and the children. She just wanted to stay quiet, and so Tanya's the one that came up with the name Granny Jan, and
Oh,
it's been that way for as long as, like, you know, she was with Tanya for 15 years. So it's just something that's been carried through, and we still talk about it today.
okay, that was great. This question may be a little tough. I don't know. You may have to think about it. But let's see. So, what did you think she was really thinking or making when she made dolls or gifts? Was it for comfort? Was it for hope, safety, or belonging?
I think it goes back to how my mom felt when she got hers. And it was more for comfort. It was more for um, letting, for hope, for letting people know that you are loved and you're not forgotten. And
Hmm.
a feeling to say, hey, you may be going through a rough time right now, but there's hope for you, and don't give up.
Okay. So in one of the verses, you said, Mama crafted in quiet spaces while her children watched and learned. So, what did you and your siblings learn by watching her live that way?
Mhm. She, when we were kids, she mostly did her sewing and stuff in the family room. Had a sewing machine set up by the window, and that's where she would do her sewing. But other times she would sew, I mean, like do her crocheting and things like that in her chair. And although with 5 kids around and half the neighborhood, wasn't always quiet, but mom had a way of tuning us out. And I remember having conversations with her while she would be crocheting. And, when you crochet, you have to count stitches. And I'm having a conversation with her, and she is still crocheting and counting stitches. And I'm like, and responding to me. So I'm like, I don't even know how she did it, but it's quite impressive that she was able to tune out when she needed to tune out. But if there was a time where she needed to interfere with us kids or something, she heard that too. So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
quite an amazing ability.
As most mothers do, they
Right.
kind of say you have eyes in the back of your head. You can
Yep.
see it. You don't have to be looking at you.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, also, one of the lyrics that also stood out is God planted a seed in her early days. What do you believe that seed was?
Wow. That seed to me reflects that God put into her that she was going to that when she was given a handmade dress by Goodfellows, that um and that stuck with her for the rest of her life. And that was just the beginning, because what he put into her was the ability to to learn and to do things in her like in her early days and beyond while we were in Michigan, and it taught her, um, I guess, laid the groundwork for what he had plans for her when she moved away to Kentucky, and that's where her real impact goes. I mean,
Similar to paying it forward,
paying it
right?
forward.
Just with
Yeah,
receiving that handmade dress when she was a kid and carrying on, paying it forward.
forward. Yes, that's basically that's how
Mhm.
I envision that seed and how it grew and developed in her and in her giving and her love and in this and what it meant for hope and it did really inspire others.
Now, it was interesting. I mean, I know this, but when did you learn about her receiving that handmade dress?
Now that's an interesting story. When mom was getting near the end of her life, Tanya decided to put on a celebration for mom and all of us kids. Terry came from Michigan, and the rest of us kids were already here. And Tanya had um, scheduled some guests to come, and we met at mom's house. And Tanya had balloons, she had cake, she had cupcakes, she had awards, she had presentations, and all of this that took place that night. Um, and it just kind of let us know how much mom was really appreciated and valued, even though
Mhm.
people didn't get the opportunity to meet her and she never met them. And it was shortly after that time because Tanya wanted actually to have the news station come and meet with her, but we knew that wasn't something mom wanted. But Tanya had tried to schedule uh, the local newspaper, Jessamine Journal, to come meet with her. And she's like, nah, I don't really want that. And after the party and the celebration, I got to talking to mom like the next day. And I'm like, mom, you really need to do that because um, your story needs to be heard. And you don't have to tell people who you are. We can just go by Granny Jan. And she finally gave into it and agreed to have it done.
Good.
And when the reporter was at the house giving her, asking her the questions and stuff, that's when we heard.
Okay. Heard the story
We heard
of
the story.
her receiving her first dress. Yeah.
Yeah, it was because they were family was less fortunate, and it was from Goodfellows, and the volunteers had made her a sack feed dress, and it was given to her, and she said that thought never left her all her life. It
Mhm.
stayed with her. That's
Mhm.
the first time we'd ever heard that story, and that was
Mhm.
a couple days before she passed.
Oh, no. Well, that brings me to the next question. You said in your lyrics, when mama's hands grew quiet, her children
Mhm.
used their gifts. How are you
Yes.
carrying forward now with your gifts?
So after she had passed, we knew that she had always made Christmas stockings to give to the advocacy program for all the children. And so we just kind of stepped forward. I went and drove to I looked at Marketplace and found a place in Parkersville, Kentucky that was selling fabric. So I went ahead and reached out to the woman and drove down there one weekend on a Saturday and went through a lot of the fabric she had, and I picked out a lot of the Christmas fabric. And then I saw a lot of children fabric, and I thought, wow, we could do something else with that. So I gathered some of the children fabric and I brought that back as well. And while I was there, I got to talk to the woman who was selling all this fabric. I guess they had some illness in the family and stuff. And I said, "Well, can I get your name?" And she said, "Yeah, my name's Jan." And I'm like,
Oh,
"What what are the chances of that?"
divine intervention,
Yeah.
right?
So with that, we were able to make like 200 stockings, and then we were able to make I think 30 pillows that we bought.
So all the siblings pitched in
Yeah, we just
and
kind of all
did their part.
did our
Now,
part.
who was doing the sewing?
Well, the sewing, okay, so a little funny story about that. My mom bought all 3 of us girls sewing machines at one point in our lives,
Hmm.
and none of us had used the sewing machine. But Randy, who's an older brother, who's also was a helicopter pilot, he has always sewed. And sorry, Randy, I don't mean to embarrass you or anything like that, but it was pretty cool because he's the one that ended up sewing I think like 200 purses from fabric that was donated by the upholstery shop. And then Randy also sewed um, the 200 stockings, and he put lace on them, and he just kind of added his own touches. And
Oh,
we were able to give those to Tanya before the holidays.
oh, that's amazing.
Mm.
That's amazing that your brothers stepped up too. That's kind of
Yeah,
funny. None of the girls
none of the
could
girls.
sew. Sometimes that happens. I hear that story more often than not. When your mom is trying to get you to craft or do
Yeah,
things, the girls always push away and say, I don't want to do that. I want to do something else. So,
right.
and then later on, you wish you had listened, right?
Right.
And learned.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So, if your mom could hear the song today, what do you think she would say back to you?
Wow, that's a tough one. I think she'd be proud. I don't know if she would be mad for putting it out there. But I have to hope that she would understand the love and the impact that it will have on other people.
Hmm.
It,
Yes.
it will.
Okay, so the song ends with, I believe your gifts could do the same. Who are you speaking to in that moment?
Oh, in that moment, I'm speaking to all the people out there who have talents and they know of them. That what is already in you and what comes naturally to you is part of what could be your gift altogether. Or sometimes you go through hardships in life and you have to learn some lessons and you get through the storms, and then you find out on the other side of that, your gift is developed through your growth and your transformation. And in that
Mhm.
case, that is how mine developed. I was not a songwriter. I did not have this ability until I went through some storms in my life, and I came out with this ability of wanting to write a song, and didn't know where it was going to take me, but I did. And I think a lot of people are afraid to try things, and I think sometimes you need to pick up the paintbrush. You don't know if that's in you or not. And there are people who can just talk and listen, and maybe you have a skill
Mhm.
of in finances or something like that, that you can go to a facility or a local place and help people who don't know how to budget money or don't know how to do certain things. I think people
Mhm.
need to just start looking at themselves and knowing that God put a gift in you, and you may not know what that gift is right now, and you're never too old or too young to
Mhm.
develop it and figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the gift has always been there in you, just because you feel deeply,
Mhm,
and I
mhm,
think that's one of the main criteria for a good song,
mhm,
the feeling and the emotion that you can pass through
mhm.
uh just the words in the song. So I
Yeah.
think you did an excellent job with
Thank you.
this one. So, but this time maybe you can give us a little hint of what are you thinking for your next song?
Okay, so for my next song, I wanna kinda carry it through, this kinda just touched on, the surface of it, of what my mom did and the things that she made and how it could help other people, and the impact it had on their life. So my next song is going to be talking a little bit about the impact that it had on these women and children who are victims of abuse, and what those gifts were, how they received them, and in what outpoured from them.
Okay. kind of what the difference it could make, and filling their heart with joy. Like you said, um, sometimes when people are going through things, they don't realize that other people see them, and
Mhm.
it's nice to be seen and cared about as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So, where can people find you and your music? This is airing on YouTube. So, what's your social media handles, or where can we find you?
Right. So on YouTube, it's just Be Heard Publishing, and on Facebook, it's Be Heard Publishing. But Instagram is at Be Heard. I'm sorry, this is the stuff. Be Heard 13 at Be Heard 13.
All right, all right.
And
I
YouTube is
I
at
have to
Be
do
Heard
the
Publishing.
same. Nobody can remember all of this stuff, and that's okay.
And, and like 150 streaming platforms, you can find it on there as well.
Oh, the songs. Yeah,
Songs,
like
yeah.
Spotify and Pandora. You can download her songs. Yeah, and it's just is it under both? I guess you can look under Be Heard or her name, Deb
Right.
Paschke, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's great. Any last words that you'd like to say?
Just I know that my mom was a big giver and loved to inspire hope in others, and she showed that in her daily living and through family and friends and strangers.
Mhm. It's amazing. It's a beautiful story. I love the song. It really touched
Mhm.
me as well. It resonates with me. Um, and I know the feeling of losing a mom
Mhm.
as well. So
Mhm.
it just is just something about the song that really resonates with me. Kind of gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Hey. But I love it. I love it. And
Mhm.
Debbie or Deb put the music to this song. She wrote all the lyrics. She did everything. And really kind of sat in the feeling of the song. And you can really hear that
Yeah.
when you listen to it. So I hope everybody downloads, streams,
Yeah.
like, share,
Yeah.
all those great things. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us, and stay tuned for more from Deb and Be Heard Publishing. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye
Okay.
bye.
All right. Bye bye.